as I started to get in and around first teams for semi-pro clubs, I started to realize that the opportunities that you do get are very much based upon the people you do know, along with proof and evidence of what type of player you actually are, sort of like your football resume. I realized that rising to higher levels in the game was a game within the game itself, you understand? And I realized that it's not always the best players who play at the highest levels. So today I'm going to give advice on how to go from grassroots level to semi-pro level to the pro level. And this video will be predicated based on the UK because obviously I don't really know or understand the football systems in other countries. So first, let's talk about connections and how to build them. Now, my advice for very young players around the ages of 10 to like 16 would to be leave your grassroots football team and join a semi-pro team, or even better, a professional team as soon as possible. Preferably one with a first team. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because you're going to get to a certain age, maybe 15, 16, 17 years old, where you're probably going to get a chance to train with the first team, make substitute appearances for the first team if you do impress in like your age group. Let's say you're impressing in under 16s level, you're impressing in the under 18s, even in the under 23s. You're probably going to get that chance where maybe the first team manager has a few injuries, or he's lacking players, or like there's a friendly and the first team manager, wants to see what type of young players he has, if there's anyone good enough to actually play for the first team. And if you're there, if you're impressing in your age group, you're probably going to get that call up from your manager. Your manager is probably going to tell you, yo, the first team, they need some young players for a friendly. You're probably going to get 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You go there and then you impress as much as you can, and obviously you're going to get those opportunities. But if you're still stuck at your grassroots football team, there's no chance of that happening for you, you understand? So literally, my advice would be join a semi-pro team or a pro team who have a first team. That's how you get your first initial experience, you understand? That's how I got my first initial experience, playing for first team. That's how I got my first start. I was literally, playing well in the under 18s and the under 23s, and then the first team manager just said, yo, I need a few players. And then my manager came out to me, he selected about 3 players, me and 2 other guys. We started training with the first team, and then from there made a few substitute appearances for the first team. And basically, now at a later date, now I could put that on my resume that, yo, I've played for a first team, I've been in and around, the first team, I have that experience, I've played a few games for the first team. And now if I want to join another semi-pro team or another first team, yo, they're going to look at me and they're going to be like, yo, this guy has first team experience, he knows how it works. He's been here before. Let's give him a chance, you understand? Instead of a guy who's never really been there before, never played for a first team, obviously they're more likely to choose me, even if they haven't even seen me play compared to the other guy. Maybe the other guy could be better than me. You never know. The other guy could be better than me, but simply because they've seen that, yo, this guy's played for a first team. It's sort of like proof, you understand? It's sort of like going for sort of like a resume for a job interview. If you show the job interviews that, yo, you've got experience here, you've got experience here, they're more likely to hire you than the guy who has no experience. But the guy who has no experience, he could be a much better worker than you. He could be a guy where it's like he's a much harder worker. He listens, he's this, he's that, he's disciplined, and you could literally be the worst worker in the world. But because you've got that experience, because you've got that resume, they're more likely to hire you, and it works that way in football. So literally, in terms of like connections, the easiest way in my opinion is to join a team that already has a first team. Join a team that has a first team, impress in your age group as you go through the years, and then eventually, like I said, maybe under 15s, under 16s, under 7s. Under 15s is a bit crazy, to be honest, unless you're like Lamine Yamal level. But let's say under 16s, you get 16, 17, 18. Once you get to like that phase, that's when you might hear people getting called up. And if you're balling out in your age group, your manager's most likely going to give you the call up, because obviously he wants to pick the best players, you understand? So yeah, that's literally just the first point of just rising higher up the levels, going from grassroots to semi-pro to pro level. Literally just join the best club available, join a club that has a first team, and that's the easiest way to sort of work your way into a first team, get your experience of playing men's football. Now, the second bit of advice is literally just to play as much football as you can in various different places. Literally just do that, because that's how you can build connections. You never know who you're going to meet at these different places. Like, I'm talking about training with as high as level teams as you can. I'm talking about going to play Sunday league. If you're like a Saturday league footballer, play on Sundays as well. Or if there's a team who, I don't know, for example, play their games on Wednesday, play for that team as well, you understand? Obviously, if it's a money issue, if it's a time issue, then fair enough. But if you can do it, in my opinion, just do it. If you want to go to like power league equivalents and just go make a 5-a-side team, make a 7-a-side team, like I said, and you're just there every single week playing well. You never know who you're gonna meet at these sort of places. You'll be surprised about where some people get picked up. You understand? Like one of my friends that I met that ultimately led me to training with a first team. I literally met him at a Sunday league training session that I wasn't even planning on going to. Like, I remember it was a Saturday morning. I wasn't really gonna go, but I didn't have anything to do, so I was like, alright, cool, let me just go to this, Sunday league training. Went to the Sunday league training, saw the guy for the first time. Obviously we got to talking, he thought I was a good player, and then he invited me to he played for a first team. He invited me to train with them. I went to go train with them, and literally on the first training session they offered to sign me. You understand? Literally just like that. Literally just from going to like a Sunday league training session that didn't really mean anything, that I didn't even plan on going to, led me to an opportunity to actually get to train with the first team, and then actually get offered to sign. You understand? And then there's another time where I got a first team experience where the assistant coach of my under-18s team, because he thought I was a good player, he knew a first team manager, and he asked the first team manager to give me a chance to go play for them. And obviously I went to go train there, I think twice. I impressed when I went to go train there twice. And then I got handed my debut in a match. I think it was like a cup game. I can't lie, that cup game, I stunk it out. I can't lie, I did not have a good game. I was probably like 16, 17 at the time. I think that was the game where I was like, alright, cool, I'm not ready for men's football, you understand? I'm not ready for men's football. Like, I can't lie, I stunk it out. I was not good, you know what I'm saying? I was not physical enough. I was not quick enough on the ball, you know what I'm saying? I was just getting brushed aside, especially because I was young and I was playing centre mid as well. Normally in first teams, the younger players, they're normally playing on the wing, or they're playing up front. You understand? It's very rare in like first team, even at semi-pro level, where you get players who are playing either goalkeeper, centre back, centre mid, or striker. It's never really the spine of the team, because obviously that's the spine of the team, you understand? Normally they're just chucked out wide: right back, left wing, right wing, you understand? Normally it's that sort of thing. But yeah, it's very hard for young players to break in at centre mid. And yeah, even though I stunk the place out, think about it, I still got the opportunity. To make my debut for that team. Whereas there's been other players, maybe even way older than me, maybe 23, 24, 25, who have been looking for that opportunity, but they just still haven't got it, simply because they didn't have the connection. So you can see how powerful it is, and what I mean by my point of just playing. Just go to various places if you have the time. And just play as much football as you possibly can, because once you go to these different places, you never know who you're gonna meet. Even if in the most random scenarios, it could be your ticket to playing at a high level. Now, the last bit of advice that I have from going from grassroots to the pro level is to literally have highlight tapes of your game, literally video recordings of your games if you can. I know some teams don't record their games, but if you can, somehow, some way, just find a way to get recordings of your game. Obviously get your highlights from the game and just put them in a compilation, and just always have a video on deck, because a lot of teams these days, obviously we're transitioning to that social media era where coaches are going to ask for your tape, because a lot of players have them now these days. So if you don't have your video tape, your coach is going to look at you a bit like, yo, why don't you have it? Like, all these players have a video tape, all these guys have proof and evidence of what type of player you are. So you sort of have to keep up in that regards. I know it could be difficult if you're young, especially if your team don't invest in like a camera or like a VO, but hey, you just have to have something, even if it's like a few goals that you have, a few highlights, a few tricks, a few skills that you've done. Just have something, have some sort of video tapes, you understand? Because it's getting to the point now where it's like, even like university football teams, and we all know university football teams, it isn't the same as like first teams. Even like university football teams are asking for like highlight tapes and recordings of your games. And yeah, even they're asking for it. And I remember in the trials that happened last year, a lot of players, if you just sent in your highlight videos and a decent resume of the teams you played for, most of them players who did that didn't even have to actually go to the trials. You understand? They didn't even have to trial out. Literally, the university just let them go through. They put them on one of the football teams. You understand? Whereas the players who didn't have any sort of recordings of their games, any highlights of their moments, they didn't have a decent resume of teams that they played for, they had to go through the trial system. And obviously When it comes to university, you go on the trial day and it's like 150, 160 people there. There's only like 4 or 5 coaches, so there's a chance where you might be a good player, but you might not even be recognized. The coaches might not even be paying attention to you. Whereas if you had your highlights on deck, if you had your video tape and you sent a decent resume of the teams that you played for, you just got sent straight through, and they put you on either on whatever team they put you on. At least you go onto a team, you understand? So literally having recordings of yourself is vital. Maybe not at 10 years old, 12 years old, but definitely by the time you get to like 16, you want to have some decent match footage, even some decent training footage. You want to have some decent highlights, maybe some goals in there, maybe some, doesn't even have to be goals, assists. If you're a goalkeeper, you want to have some decent saves in there. Just anything good that highlights what type of player you are, you understand? Anything good that shows coaches, yo, okay, he's this type of player, he's this type of player, he's this type of centre mid, or he's this type of striker, type of winger, type of fullback, whatever it is. You want to have some match footage of yourself that shows your coaches what type of player you are. But that's the video for today. That's how you go from grassroots to semi-pro to pro level. I hope you enjoyed the vid. I'm JT and I'm out.